When was your breaking point? So my breaking point was obviously in 2017, October 2017. I was very high functioning for a while, like I had said. I put a lot of my emotional regulation into people, into my relationships. I specifically put them into boyfriends that I had at the time. So this was really toxic, really toxic. I won't say the person's name for privacy reasons, and I won't go into too much detail about the relationship, but I am going to talk about um, what was a part of my mental health journey. Again, it's my truth, and so it's really hard because I have this beautifully written piece about suicide, about my thoughts, about depression, and I want to be able to share it with you guys in a video, but at the same time, it's beautifully written. So it's really hard. I don't have it memorized because that's fake. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna like adjust the camera and I'm just gonna read it to you guys. On October 10th, 2017, I tried to kill myself. I was low. Beyond low. The lowest I've ever been in my life. And for a while, I had thought I had hit rock bottom, but I just kept sinking. Who was God? Where was He? And if He was real, why did He let me be in so much pain? I had gotten out of an emotionally abusive relationship earlier that year, only to backslide and end up in a worse condition. I was played, broken, lonely. I had no one, no friends. October 10th, which may surprise you, was not my first attempt. The thought of suicide had been something that was reoccurring in my life since I was probably 14 years old. It was comforting because it was the only thing I knew I could control. I learned at a very young age that you can't control other people. I had so consistently seen people in my life try. People in my life wanted to push me to be the best I could possibly be, as if they already knew what I was to become. And the truth is that no human being knows what your so-called potential is. Nevertheless, I still tried to control myself, at least. I wanted to uphold this beautiful image I thought everybody else had of me. In high school, I was a cheerleader, all-state tennis player, honor student, voted most beautiful, most likely to succeed. It goes on, but people thought I was perfect or a freak of nature. I wasn't, by any means, and it killed me to know that I wasn't. But now, I don't apologize if I let you guys down. I needed to learn how to recover from making a mistake. I never found comfort in pressure, yet it was my home state. How could someone live with that kind of outside pressure? The short answer is, you can't. Not on your own strength. Believe me, I tried. My senior year of high school, I thought I found someone to help alleviate the pressure, a close friend who gave me constant reassurance and helped me cope. So I made a soul tie. I had kept secrets, but little did I know that it was unhealthy to depend on someone that much. And soul ties are dangerous, especially with a mischievous person. I went to college about 2,000 or over 2,000 miles away from my hometown, and this helped because I didn't have the pressure of the norms that I had built up in my head, and I could finally relax a little and breathe, or so I thought. The restrictions from the soul tie had kept me in bondage. I wasn't free, I was trapped. But I was okay with being trapped because I didn't have to deal with the pressure. Not alone, at least. But what happens whenever God's telling you to move forward and a soul tie is holding you back? You start to crumble. I grew depressed and I didn't even realize it. I was afraid of disappointment. I didn't want to be rejected. Plus, I had really dark secrets. And what if people found out that I wasn't perfect? What if they knew? What would they think? What would they say? What would you think? What would you say? What would you do? And so I began taking it. For what? I was being emotionally abused because I thought I was loved. I let someone have every last bit of me because I needed to feel loved. Because we were made to be loved. But this wasn't love. It was a trap. You isolate, threaten, and then attack. No, you're a psycho. You're crazy. You did it, so I get to do it. You're immature and you act like a child. You're not an adult. You're a freaking child. No, I'm sorry. I promise I'll change. It was just one time. I promise. No. Did you do it again? No, you're a psycho. Such a vicious cycle, and I was blind. I couldn't cry out because you were my lifeline. What do you do when your lifeline is what breaks you? Once I had enough rejection, I left. Like I said, only to come back and be abused more. I don't know what you're thinking. Maybe I do. I know what you're thinking. What was the abuse? Where was it abusive? Why didn't you just leave? You see, the reason abuse victims don't leave or return is because they don't know they're being abused. I didn't know. I thought that someone cheating on me and making me beg because it was my fault was something to be tolerated, or that being played was just a part of the norm. Selling myself, marketing myself for love was something I had to do because I had to prove I was worthy of love, of trust, that I wasn't psychotic. But you see, I didn't know accepting such love was not love, but emotional abuse. A sick, manipulative game of mind control. Neither did anyone else. It was one of those secrets. Depression became a normal state of life. Sleeping all the time, being irritated, crying for absolutely no reason, not caring about my appearance or caring about my appearance too much, not eating, not showering for over a week, questioning life, if it was worth it. So I came to a breaking point. I knew I needed help. Real help. Sorry, Dad. I talked to my parents about going to a therapist, and their thoughts were shaky, but went through with it. You're not depressed. I don't think you're depressed. I was. I was more than that. I went to get a psychoanalysis done or evaluation, and lo and behold, I was suffering from major depression. I did have a sliver of hope, though. Going back to school, the 2,000-mile gap. The sad thing is that the internet, it closes that gap. I don't think anyone will understand what it's like to see the person who abused you treat someone else a way that you had given anything to be treated like. Because you would give anything to just not be in pain. But the scars of their mistreatment will not fade. 2,000 miles away, on October 10th, I sat in front of my mirror, crying my eyes out, having suicide in my ear. What did I not have that they did? Wasn't I perfect? Didn't everyone think so? Was it because I wasn't white? Did I need to straighten my hair? Dye it lighter? Stop being so tan? Maybe if I just change this. No, that. Do your makeup like this because it looks better. Don't eat that because it'll make you fat and you don't want to get the fat gene. Get smarter. Be better. I gave up. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If we all agree that this is what makes people insane, I think we all are. And in that moment, I couldn't fathom trying life again. After rejection, after depression. Because if that indeed is what insanity is, what is hope? So I sent my I love yous, popped some pills that for some reason tasted so bad they wouldn't go down. Then the phone rang. I guess that POS was good for something after all. And it was my brother. He got up and left class to call me. I even ignored it for the first time, I think. But I picked up. He talked me out of it, convinced me to talk to my therapist and go to the hospital. I'd never felt so special. So this isn't a testimony about how my life ended, but rather how my life started. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in 15 to 24-year-olds in the United States. It is serious. In fact, like 90% of people who commit suicide have a mental illness at their time of death, and most of the people who attempt suicide the first time fail, but the success rates increase. So the more you try, the more likely you are to succeed, which is really sad, but I thank God that I didn't turn into a statistic. Like I said at the end of that video, it's not a story about how my life ended or even how I battled depression for my whole life. No, it's a story about how my life got started. So if you would like to keep listening and finish hearing my testimony, click the next video. I promise it'll help explain things even